Hello and welcome to the Flow Sub Only podcast. We've got a special episode for you today. I'm here with Ben, as usual, my co-host. How's it going today, Ben?
Good, Hayden. How's it going?
Doing good, man. And in addition to Ben, we have our first guest as promised. We have Magic Mike Murray. How's it going, man?
What's up, dude? Not too bad. Yourself?
Doing good, man. So Ben and I had talked. We wanted to have you on. You are obviously a local fan favorite for some of your performances on the mats, some of your warm-up routines, the kits you wear, a little bit of everything. But I wanted to give you a chance and some fans to kind of tell your story from the beginning, what got you into jiu-jitsu and, where you're from and just a little bit of everything. So feel free to start us off, man. Where'd you get your start in jiu-jitsu?
First start, I think I started around age 13 or 14. And I started actually up here in Maine at the Foundry. They had a place in Manchester. I think we were training 2 days a week or something like that. And me and my buddy Nate came, he drove an hour, came through, picked me up, and we go there every Tuesday and Thursday or something like that. I stayed until I was, let's do the math here. I was a blue belt when I left. I just got my blue belt, and then I left the Marines. I'm trying to think, where did I go? I went to Georgia after that. I trained a few times, in Virginia and the Carolinas. I was training after boot camp and stuff like that. I didn't get any belts or anything. Let's see, in Georgia, I trained there for a little bit, and that's where I started doing MMA as well. That was my first duty station in Kings Bay, Georgia. Started doing MMA for, I have no idea why. I had no striking or anything, I was like, oh, this looks cool, Nick Gulliver, if you guys know Gully, he kind of got me into it. He's back up here. He's Foundry brown belt.
Yeah.
He's big awesome guy, MMA. He's got a amateur MMA. He used to be the NEF heavyweight champion. Yeah, and Gully, he's just such a good dude. But he's been my big brother in this whole thing. So he kind of talked me into doing MMA, and I was like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll come up for a fight. I was one fight, and I got super addicted because I look like such a I look insane. I'm doing all these weird things with my hands and just I thought I was Conor McGregor or something, and I just looked foolish. I looked so foolish. I ended up winning that fight, first round rear naked choke, and I ran up the cage and jumped up the cage, and I spread my arms out like I was the man, and it made it on the Sun Journal the next morning, the front page of the Sun Journal. That picture did.
I think I'm looking at that photo right now, to be perfectly honest.
you probably are. It's I'm wearing yellow shorts.
Yep.
I think I had maybe.
Yeah. I'm also on that same Tapology website right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's on there. So that picture's on the Sun Journal. I got that clipping, laminated somewhere in my house. But yeah, dude, that was the moment I was super hooked. I was I am definitely coming back for the next show, and the next show after that, and that. And I remember I pitched it to Matt Peterson. I was like, dude, if you get me fights, I will be the most charismatic. I will be the face of this promotion. He was like, all right, dude, I love it. Let's go. So I wasn't even landed back in Georgia, and I was already getting my next fight lined up. So yeah, I fought pretty much I want to say I fought maybe 5 times with that team down in Georgia. Back and forth is up in Maine most of the time, and then I had one fight in Florida. A title fight against Zach Richard. Lost it, but it's good. It was fun. It was a decision. So, and all of these things were I don't know, they were just more momentum. And then let's see, that was right around COVID that started, and then it felt the entire country just the entire world just lost momentum.
Yeah. Well, momentum's a good word, man, because I'm looking at the start of your amateur fights, and you were on NEF 39, NEF 40, NF 41, NF 42. You didn't take any time off.
No, and if you look at one of those, I fought like NEF on like February something, and then the weekend after I fought down in Florida for
Yeah.
combat night. Right after getting like knee barred in the NEF, like I remember I wasn't gonna tap, dude, and I had this other fight lined up, and I was like, because the adrenaline's pumping, and I don't really feel the pain too much, but I'm like, I'm gonna let him break my leg because I don't want to go out like this. And that split second, I thought of that next fight. I was like, wow, I really have another fight like next week. I got to go through this whole thing, like another weight cut. I got to go in there and win this thing. I already had like sold like 100 tickets to Marines and stuff. Like I had everybody showing up. So I'm like, all right, we got to catch this L so we can get a W next weekend. But
Well, it was
yeah,
worth it because you did get the W.
yeah, yeah. Against a super good dude. That guy was like, he had like 3 knockouts. He was like 3-0 when I fought him. I was pretty scared. I'm not gonna lie, especially going after that knee bar loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, COVID like just kind of messed everything up though.
Yeah. I think it
Momentum,
did
man.
for a
Once it
lot of
stops,
people.
it's hard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I noticed like pretty much my pool of people that I was kind of like peers with, sort of all maybe had a couple more fights after that, or just kind of faded off. It just seemed like that group, my peer group, sort of faded off. Some of them, kept going, obviously, but um, for me, I ended up moving. I got stationed in California, so that was when I left my team, Camden Combat in Georgia, went out to Florida at the very start of COVID. So like everything is shut down. We were like illegally training on base. We had my retired sergeant major coach. He was like our boxing and Muay Thai coach. He was like, yeah, we're gonna black out the windows. Nobody's gonna know we're training. No, he's like, no social media. We're like, all right, bet. And that's where I met. He got me in contact with. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm not really a striker. Like I like jujitsu better. He's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he's like, I'll get you in contact with this jiu-jitsu black belt, but I want you striking and stuff. I was like, okay, cool. But I got in contact with Paul Wu, who at the time was a gunnery sergeant and a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And from there, like he and I bonded like super, super well. And I ended up getting my purple belt from him like right before I left California, like 2 years later or something. But that was like that time frame with Coach Mark Glecko, and Paul Wu was probably like the thing that like shifted my, I was saying like the momentum was going and then it like just died with COVID. But then these two guys like saved me in terms of, getting my hunger for it and the flame back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like COVID, some people took the opportunity to like double down on their work ethic and whatever they were trying to accomplish, and like really pushed forward during COVID because they had a little more time than usual. And then other people just kind of used it to regress and shell up and not really do much.
Yeah.
It was kind of polarizing how people came out of it, I think.
It was. Yeah. It was such a wild, interesting, weird time,
Yeah.
It was so weird because like I hadn't competed at all that first year of COVID, and then I ended up deploying toward the end of it, like November of like 2020. And when I came back, so I was on the deployment and I was talking to Paul, like I was Facebooking him and stuff, and I was like, what are we doing? Like when I get back, like he's like, well, the guys are all competing like a week after you get back. And I was like, well, then sign me up, dude. Like I want to go compete. He's like, bro, you're not training. I was like in Japan, just like on a ship, like, floating around the sea. And he's like, I was like, nah, dude, put me in. Like, I want to do this. I want to do a competition. I ended up getting smashed, and it was terrible. But, like from that point on, we competed like every weekend after that. And I don't know, there's something about it out there. Like, it was funny because they made you wear masks and everything until you go out and compete, and you're like with this other guy that you're not wearing a mask with, obviously. Right. But it was so funny. They're like, no one's gonna compete until everyone in the crowd is wearing their mask. It was so wild. Just
wow.
But it was crazy.
Where was that?
It was like California, Arizona, and then Vegas were like the 3 places that we could go to. We were like 3 to 4 hours away from like San Diego, Las Vegas. I think we were like 4.5 hours from Phoenix. Yeah, just a good spot, like in the middle of the desert, but you had all those 3 places like not that far away, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I feel like I had 4 different like basement training places during COVID.
Yeah, we trained in Paul's garage, like until, you know, like there's like 2 or 3 of us just rolling around on this like 10 by 10 mat.
Yeah, Dover definitely made a bunch of money that year.
Oh yeah, yeah, the private rollout mats and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. We shut down for, I want to say, a month, maybe at the most, probably less than that if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I did. I finished off a section of my basement, brought in mats, like framed them all in, set up like Zoom cameras to like teach class remotely, and everything I could think of to try to like keep people on the mats, because it was so unknown, like how long this stuff was going to last, you know. Looking back on it now, it's like doesn't seem like as big of a deal, but in the middle of it, it was a nightmare.
Oh yeah. And it just didn't seem like it was ever going away. It seemed like I don't know, I feel like I had one of the worst, not me personally, but like the guys that I was with, we had some of the worst experience with it, because we're in the military and we're in California, which is like, you know, pretty liberal with how they like deal with these certain things. And then like, again, on top of that, we're in the military, so they're extremely like, everything is restrictive and everything is rules and all these things. Like I probably quarantined, like when we first got out to California, I probably quarantined like 10 times within like 7 months.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 weeks. Well, at least at
Yeah.
first, it was like it didn't make a ton of sense. Like,
no, it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, I remember my daughter, who was on the high school wrestling team. Her senior year was like her junior year. There was no wrestling because COVID was like at its height, and then their senior year, they allowed them to wrestle, but they had to wear masks while wrestling.
Oh my God, that's insane.
So, and on top of that, imagine being a female. So you've got the like Under Armour style hair cap that you're wearing,
right?
And you're wearing a mask, and then you're wearing headgear over both of those things. It was just an absolute disaster.
Yeah. I think I remember when we were doing the striking, before we boarded up the wall, like the windows, we actually were wearing masks, and it was miserable. It's like we're soaking wet, we're sweating so bad, and then you have this, you know, we're being waterboarded by these masks. I think that's, you know, we were just like we're like, dude, we're in really good shape and we're dying. Like, can you like let us take these off? He's like, yeah, we got to black these windows out, you know?
Yeah.
But oh man.
So
yeah, I don't want to get banned or fined or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I found, because we were open, we actually took the opportunity to get a bigger place, like at the very height of COVID, because we could rent stuff so much cheaper because you know, everywhere was shut down. So we got the spot we have now at the gym, and we got it much cheaper than it should be because of COVID. But yeah, that's why we have like that frosted tint on all the windows and stuff, so nobody can see in.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
It's smart.
So it looks like, from what I'm seeing here, six amateur fights. 5 of them were for NEF, and then 3 pro fights with NEF. And now it looks like you've sort of transitioned to being behind the mic at NEF instead. So how did that come about, and what exactly are you doing with NEF for that?
Yeah, I think so. I did my first fight. I didn't want to cut weight for it or anything. I don't know why. That was just like, you know, I heard Justin Gaethje in UFC does that. He just kind of walks in and does his thing. I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. Like, I might want to try that. I don't know why I coupled that with going pro. Like, that was a dumb time to test that out, you know, but I was like 185, like, let me try to come in here and fight this guy. And Jeff Reynolds came in, you know, like bone dry 185, and then, you know, the night of, I think he was like 215 or something, like just massive man. And I stepped on the scale like in all of my clothes, and they were like, like, are you sure, Mike? That was kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say that was like an eye-opening experience. I think that was more or less like, yeah, I need to go back down to 170 and, fight back down there. But I had
shot that event too.
Yeah, I think he did. I think I remember seeing you there. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. I want to say it was an eye-opening experience. Like, it was, but maybe for the wrong reasons. I needed to go back down to 170 and then get a win or fight a few times. But after my last fight, I just kind of like lost the dream or the hunger. Like, I was like, what am I getting punched in the face for when I can just do jiu-jitsu, which is, I feel like just as fulfilling. And I don't have to get punched in the head. Like, even my last fight, like, he gave me a black eye and I still won. Like, I didn't land any damage on him. I just choked him out. So I'm like, I'm the one that has to like have this black eye for a few days, so I don't know. It's just like, no one really wins an MMA fight,
right?
I guess. But working for the NEF just kind of came about last year or so. I came up when we moved here. Matt Peterson was just like, I had told him, I put a bug in his ear and I was like, I still want to be a part of these shows. Like, if you want to, like, I want to grapple on the shows or do whatever you need, dude. And I remember like last year he hit me up. He's like, I have a really cool idea for you. And he's like, I'll call you at some point or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I went out to a bar with my brother and we're sitting there. I was like maybe a few beers deep. And he gives me this call and he's like, dude, we're going to have you come on and do like the in the cage interviews like Joe Rogan. And you're going to be there, asking the fighters, like the winners, how they feel and all these things. I was like, dude, that's so cool. Like, I'm so down. Now, this was 2 days before the event that he was going to ask me to do this. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh, that's so awesome. But like, mind you, I'm a few beers deep and I'm a major lightweight. So I'm like, yeah, I'm down without thinking. And then the next day I was like, oh no, what have I agreed to? Like, this is going to be crazy. I had like really no time to really get, in my head about it though. So just went in there and I watched a bunch of Joe Rogan post-fight interviews just to kind of, get the questions and see what he does. And that's kind of been just the reality of it. That's just been what it's like the last couple of, I don't know how many shows we've done now, probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7. And it's fun. Like, I get to be right there. I get to like, not get hit in the face and still get to be in the cage and, around the guys, and it's fun. I will admit I get a little bit of FOMO because there's that competitive spirit that I am missing out on. And I hope, like, I'm trying to push for it. You guys got to help me push for it. I want them to make belts for grappling in the NEF too. Like, they're doing it for kickboxing. Come on, like, let's do the grappling as well.
Yeah.
I'll do UFC, right? Yeah, UFC, one championship. They're all doing it. Like, let's do it. Let's follow.
I think it's a smart idea for NEF from a promotional standpoint to add in the Muay Thai and kickboxing and grappling. I think, why not? You're just tapping into a wider audience of potential fighters and fans.
Yeah, and I get it too. I understand. Like, up here, it's a little, jiu-jitsu is not necessarily a fan favorite. When you go to an MMA event, guys, like, people get so upset. Like, they're like, stand them up. Like, all right, dude, you don't even know what you're looking at. But
true.
It's kind of like, if you had like 1 or 2 grappling matches every show and you started like feeding, the audience and showing them a little bit of what technical grappling is. I'm not saying you put on boring matches. Put on the matches that are going to be, like, show people like what jiu-jitsu can be, so that, we can kind of, I don't know, raise the IQ of the fans, because, that's one. Yeah, I don't know, but that's just my hopeful dream that we can get it bigger up here.
That's, I think it can work. I think no matter what, I think grappling is not going to ever have the following that MMA does, just because it's not as spectator friendly. But I think if you have the right grapplers, I think it can put on a show for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's got to be the right people. It's got to be the people that are willing to take risks, and you got to have the right rule set too. If you go out there and have like, it's just, I don't even want to I don't want to talk trash on any of the rule sets because I like them all and I like to compete in them all, but some are really, really boring to watch. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think I think there are rule sets that could be implemented that would be exciting, and you're right. There's other rule sets that just would not work, especially if the fans aren't well versed in the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. People just want to go get drunk and watch people knock other people out. So,
Right.
you know, you gotta play to that crowd a little bit,
Yeah.
Dynamic. You have to be dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be fun to watch, man. You just gotta, like we keep saying, have the right people and the right rules. But
I think the promotion itself needs to not only put the right rule set, but they need to incentivize excitement.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Like, so Toro Cup does, their rule set is like one of my favorites to compete in. They have a 10-minute match. The first 5 minutes are sub only, and it immediately rolls into, after that 5 minutes, if no one subbed anybody, it just keeps going, but now points are on at 5 minutes. And it's regular standard IBJJF, passing, throws, sweeps, all that. And so that's really cool. The sub only guys can, play that first game if they really want to. And on top of that, they have this huge sponsor that they pay $500 for submissions under a minute. And then under 2 minutes, they pay $100. So, if you get a submission at 1 minute and 30 seconds, you're getting $100. If you get a submission at 55 seconds, you're getting $500. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I like that.
Dude, the last show that we did, they handed out $5,400 in bonuses.
That's
People
awesome.
were just diving for heels and arms and necks. It was crazy. It's so much action. Yeah, dude. You start throwing money out, they'll go.
Especially if it's $500 to some people isn't a lot, but to the average
jiu-jitsu guy,
18 to 25-year-old jiu-jitsu fighter, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Still want to pay insurance. Yeah.
Right. I mean, dude, most of these guys are, jiu-jitsu bums aren't making a whole lot of money. So, but yeah, no, $500 is a good paycheck for some guys,
Well, you figure not only, I mean, most of these white, blue, purple, brown belts not only are they not getting paid to compete, but they're paying to compete in a lot of cases.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah.
So, even high level guys are paying, $150 to go compete at IBJJF and get treated like garbage and, just be a number. And then find out that they can't wear the shorts that they wore in the match before because somebody doesn't like them.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. I had to change out of my gi the last time I went. I was like, yo, this is the gi I wear every single time I compete for IBJJF. And they're like, nope. So I'm like, dude, all right. I went and put on the other color of that exact same gi that I had. And they're like, yeah, it's okay. Whatever, dude.
I've had people either from my own academy or, from our affiliation, and I've watched it firsthand. We had a guy last year or the year before. He fought, he was a blue belt 185 guy, and it was world. So you figure there's 80 guys in his division. So he was going to need to win a lot of matches to make it to the semifinals. So he fought his first 3 matches in a specific no-gi kit. 4th time fighting on the same day, and that ref decided that his shorts were not legal, so he had to go find different shorts when he had already competed in them 3 times.
Oh my God. What did he find that he didn't like after the first 3 matches?
I have no idea, dude. There's no it's happened to my daughter, it's happened to pretty much everybody that I know, and there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. If they don't,
I got a buddy down in North Carolina that he went to Worlds and he had a slash of gray on his black shorts, and the ref was like, yeah, you can't have that. They either have to be white or black and then your rank or whatever. He's like, I don't know if you know this, but gray is a combination of black and white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the ref was just like, yeah, no, you need to go change.
Yeah. I,
I was like, dude,
That's
whatever.
ridiculous.
I'm not saying this is the case, but it certainly feels like they're all in cahoots, and there's like, oh look, by the way, there's a King's Kimonos station right over
Yeah.
there selling rash guards and shorts and gis.
We've all thought it. We've all thought it. And I've made jokes like the ref gets like commission based on how many guys he sends over there. But
yeah, don't get me started. How many origin gis have been like not allowed?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not trying to get banned. I like competing there because it's really good. It's good competition. Like I always have like the best competition. Nikolai's always in my division at these places, and I don't think we've ever competed against each other at an IBJJF, but that's how stacked the brackets are. So, I love the experience that I get when I go there, but it does seem like you said, like they're in cahoots with the promotion or the stands or whatever.
Yeah. I think that anybody who competes at a relatively high level or on a regular basis should definitely do an IBJJF. All joking aside about their, nuances to their rules, like them and ADCC are pretty much the pinnacle. And if you're, if you're just wiping the floor with everybody at a local flow sub only or a grappling industries or something, I think it's important that you go test yourself at that level too.
Agree.
Yeah,
it has a different format and feel,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can't just, for people listening, you can't just like cut all that weight and weigh in that morning and then gain 10 pounds before your match. Like you got to weigh in like 3 seconds before you hit the mats.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a crazy dynamic too.
Just definitely people aren't used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be tough too. I mean, not to just pile on complaints, but you can weigh in, I believe it's up to an hour before your match starts, and then you're kind of permanently in the bullpen. I mean, I've had students who have, done their part, weighed in, their match is scheduled for 3:04 p.m. and that person still isn't here yet, and like the match just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back for an hour until that person shows up. It's like, I don't know that would happen for us if we were an hour late.
Yeah, dude, I'm
at least you're not Naga. That's all I gotta say.
yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm a little bit of I'm petty. When it comes time and they're still not here, I'll get them disqualified. I'll be like, dude, because it's a thing I learned is like if you go up to them and tell them that they're not here and that's the time, because they'll keep pushing it for whatever reason. But if you're like, yo, I'm here, and that person isn't here, it's a disqualification, right? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Let's get on with the rest of the bracket. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I came here to do this. I'm not trying to wait all day. But
well, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Either that or have a very specific, something built into your rules or the way you operate. Like this is, we're going to push your fight back a grand total of whatever, 25 minutes maximum before you're disqualified. Right. But whatever it is needs to be, kind of standardized for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Especially as massive as it is. But
yeah, you're talking, hundreds and hundreds of competitors in one day, 12 or 16 mats running at Worlds, if it's 3 or 4 days long.
Yeah.
So we started to talk about Toro Cup and their rules and stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're also working with Toro Cup.
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing for them, and how did that come about?
Almost like a similar situation with NES. Like we just, I competed for Toro Cup for a bunch of their cards, and when I was living down in North Carolina, because I got out of the Marines, I got my purple belt from Paul, moved to North Carolina because I just wasn't ready to come back to Maine yet. And when I was living in North Carolina, like I was just trying to compete as often as I possibly could. And there was one year we decided to compete 22 times, and the significance of that is there's 22 veterans that kill themselves every single day, and so like I wanted to bring raise awareness for that, and just compete 22 times in a year. That's and kind of show, every time we like made a little video or something and talked about it and tried to push for that as much as we could. So I spent like lots of money and lots of time as a brand new family. Like that was the first year my son was born. Like he was born, and then we did these competitions. So I'm bringing a newborn baby around to like 22 different competitions all around the Carolinas and let's see, the Carolinas, Virginia. Like we had an MMA fight, a first MMA fight. So we did a lot in that year. And in that year, that's kind of where I started doing Toro Cup, and I started competing with them because it was, this cool super fight organization about an hour from where I lived. And from that point, I think I started doing graphics. So I do all their posters and stuff, graphic design. And we started doing that. I moved back up to Maine like last year and started trying to like blow up the Instagram and just try to get my social media going. And then, Bagels, the guy that runs it, John Telford, he was like, dude, you got to come down and do like interviews and just like make content, do all this stuff. So I was like, all right, bro. Like, so I go down there it's like just about every 2 months that they have a show. And we just try to do content and try to get views, try to grow their page, try to grow my own page, and get the grapplers too. Like it's something that I don't think enough people know it, or they, everyone wants to get really good at jiu-jitsu and get known for that and get paid for that. But I mean, there's like top level athletes that are not getting that, they're doing Uber and they're not able to pay their rent. And we're talking like world champion black belts, So making a name for yourself and being somebody that people recognize and, want to take pictures with, and then, brands see and they want you to wear their stuff. Like, dude, you have to get out there and show who you are. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is build up the North Carolina grapplers. And I think we're kind of starting to do that. Every time I do an interview with these guys, I'm like, yo, do not hold back. Say the crazy thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you have this outlandish thing to say, I don't care if you swear. I don't care anything. I'll bleep it out if I have to. Say the crazy thing.
Yeah.
The last show we had,
I get people from like California send me your memes.
Yeah.
Like randomly, people I've like known through across the country, and I'm like, do you know I'm like an hour away from him, right? And they're like, oh, are you? Tell him I said hi. And I was like, yeah, no problem.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. My coach hates it. My coach, Paul, like he's in Japan and he's got like his students and people sending him, and he's like, dude, I hate that kid. He's like, that's my guy. But, but no, it's just, it's something you gotta really pay attention to your personality and put it out there and let people see who it is,
Yeah.
I asked Tom a few months back, because obviously he has a massive following online, and I was talking to him about, I said, if you had a couple pieces of advice for, competitors who want to grow their following, like what would it be? And I was expecting some, highly detailed thing about algorithms and stuff like that. And he's like, be 100% authentic. Like, whether it's good, bad, otherwise, like same thing you're saying here is like, say the thing you want to say, like be yourself. And that way that your followers will be people that you want following you, because it's actually you, you're not pretending to be somebody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree with that.
So who's from your academy, Black Bear? You're in Augusta, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So who do you see next? Who's the next big name coming out? I'll put you on the spot.
I gotta give this shout out. Joshua Abraham. He told me he listened to the Flow, the last Open recap, and he said he got double gold, right? White belt. He got double gold, and he said he listened to the whole thing. He's like, my name's coming up. My name's coming up. And then he's like, man, they mentioned your name like 7 times and you weren't even there. He's like, dude. So I gotta give my boy Josh a huge shout out. He placed double gold. That was his first tournament ever. Did really well. I'm super pumped for that guy.
Awesome.
He's got some big dreams coming up, and he's doing some really cool stuff. I lift with him every morning, Monday through Friday. So,
big boy.
I'm really pumped about Josh. Yeah. I'm thinking. So we got a lot of good guys that are coming out and like they're showing that they want to do this. You know, we have Craig Buckley that just became a world champion in the at last IJJF Masters. So he went out there in August and did that. I think he had 5 matches, and I want to say he submitted like 3 or 4 of them, and he didn't have any points scored against him. So really pumped about Craig, blue belt. We got Jack Dorval's kind of been traveling around with me doing some Toro Cup stuff. He had a match on Toro. He's got a bunch of matches coming up with me here in 2 weeks down in Connecticut. I'm trying to think, man. We got a lot of good guys that are really starting to just show that they want to compete, and I'm pumped about that. Like, I think we just need to like, I wanted to thank you too, Hayden, for, you know, like being one of, like, I guess the pioneers for this, and like having a competition that people can do, because that's the thing. We have to have competitions to get like guys that want to compete, right? And I would say Maine is kind of lacking in that, you know. So I'm really pumped that we have Flow. It's like we need more of it too, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. When you asked the question on Facebook about like how many opens would you guys do, I was just like, yes, you know, like we gotta have the options, the opportunities. But
yeah, to be perfectly honest, like the fact that we only have 2 opens a year was kind of purely because of lack of signups from back along.
I get it. It waters it down. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I would literally do them every other month if there was enough signing up. Like, there on my end, there's no holding back. I love doing it, and I love being a part of them. I love organizing them. I love watching the jiu-jitsu. I love coaching them. So it's you know, I'll put them on. You know, I'll put them on as long as people want to do them.
Yeah, I have no idea how to, like, I don't know how to get that to be, you know, I think we just got to go around. I'm trying to cross train more too, and just get the competitive spirit going, because I think if we got everyone, you know, light a fire in everyone's butts, like, yo, like, we're going to compete every other month, like, come to it. You know, it's a good price. If we can get everybody to go, that's awesome. You know, I'm really butthurt that I missed the last one. I had prior obligations, but it sounded like it was a ton of people and lots of good challenges there. So
yeah. I mean, shout out to your boy who we missed on our last episode for recap, but there was so much that went on at that event.
I know.
Like, Ben was there as well, and he'll tell you, like, the energy and the level of competitors, and you know, even with some of the, we'll call it the common faces that typically compete in the men's absolute, like you and Nikolai and Tristan and, you know, a few other guys, there was still 20 guys in that
That's
division,
wild.
you know?
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
It was definitely a big day. So it's cool. Very cool.
That is very cool. Yeah. That's so awesome.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just kind of want to close us out with kind of an announcement for the fans, and then we'll wrap it up and let everybody, you know, let everybody know where to follow you and stuff like that. So first time we're releasing this, Mike is scheduled to fight on the Underground 6, which we just announced the date of January 17th. And we have an awesome matchup for you guys. I'm super excited to announce it. At our most recent open, the 1-2-3 was insanely talented to top a 20-man bracket. And we're going to have Mike Murray matched up against Jacob Weeks from the Foundry. He's a super solid black belt. And I'm excited for that match.
That's a good one. I'm really pumped, man, to challenge myself against high-level black belt. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, dude, I can't wait.
And you always put on a show, man, hence being our first guest. You know, you're a fan favorite with your crazy rash guards and your preparation.
All my antics.
You're closing in on 10,000 followers on Instagram, so that's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, thank you.
Hopefully we can snag you a few more right now. So why don't why don't you let everybody know what platforms you're on, where they can follow you and stuff like that?
Yeah, I my main platform that I'm trying to grow right now is Instagram. It's just at Magic Mike Murray. I do have a YouTube. It's like Magic Mike Jiu-Jitsu vlogs or something like that. I put all my competitions on there, but I don't really I don't know, maybe I'll get back into editing heavy someday, but Instagram's really where you're going to get all the good fun content and jokes and serious stuff and not so serious stuff. And like I said, the antics. I try to make some kind of content out of every single thing I do in jiu-jitsu, whether I win or lose. It's funny, Tristan Shields said something about, he's like, man, going against Mike, you don't really have to worry. Like you know, obviously, he's like, the biggest concern is going viral for something. Like, so I think that's funny. I like that. It takes the pressure off of me because it's like, okay, they think it's funny. I think it's funny. You know, whether I'm good at jiu-jitsu or not doesn't really matter in this moment. We can all just, you know, it's fun. It's just, I don't know. I like it a lot. But yeah,
I think it's the best analogy of like, if you win, you win. If you lose, you learn. Like either way, you're making content and it's going to be good.
Yeah. For me, if it's I win, I win. If I lose, we're going viral together. So like, I'm cool with it. Yeah. There's that picture I just shared of me picking up Tristan. He's got a triangle on me. And we're both like laughing. We're smiling, just looking at each other. And it's like, you know, you get the ref standing right there and he's like, oh my God, what's about to happen? And, but I don't know. I think I don't know. I stopped like taking myself so seriously, and I feel like everything's just kind of been playing out really well. So I'm just having fun with it, man.
I think that's a big part of it, man, is people pick up on the energy of you genuinely looking like you're having fun out there. Competition is not fun for everybody. So
right.
You know, so to see somebody going out there who's genuinely excited to be out there and enjoying themselves, I think that goes a long way for people and just being authentic, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm happy either way, you know.
All right. I appreciate you coming on the show, man, for being our first guest. We will see you here in just a couple of months on Underground 6.
Awesome. Big thank you guys for having me on here.
Awesome. Thank you,
man.
Thanks,
Mike.
Have a good one.
You too.
You too.